Islam Makhachev has responded to Dricus Du Plessis, advising him to not move up to middleweight. As you guys know, Islam is the current UFC lightweight champion and has recently stated that he doesn't want to leave the sport of MMA without achieving double champ status. Islam is hesitant to move to welterweight due to his friend and training partner Belal Muhammad being the current sitting champion, so he recently expressed interest in moving up 2 weight classes to middleweight. Dricus responded to this saying, "I guess. Good on him for trying that. He won't get that fight now. It wouldn't make sense. But if there should ever be a time where there is nobody to challenge me, nobody for him to challenge, yeah, cool. Look, he trains with 185ers in his gym, but there is only one world champion, so kudos to him for saying what he did, but it doesn't really matter because I'll overpower him in any situation. I know he walks around heavy, but I walk around heavy. He's a big lightweight, I'm a big middleweight. There's a big difference there." Islam disagrees with Dricus and says he thinks he does possess the keys to victory. Islam said, "My height allows a move to middleweight. I think my physical data allows it too. I just need to work with my specialists, gain muscle mass, add a little weight. I think I can try. As I already said at the press conference after the fight, if they offered it to me tomorrow and say they will give me time to gain weight, I would not turn it down. I would 100% agree to fight at middleweight. I'm not saying that I have a better chance, that I could 100% finish Du Plessis, but watching his fights, watching his style, I think I have the keys to victory." The GFL announced that Chris Weidman has officially signed with the promotion. This confused many fans due to the fact that Weidman announced his retirement earlier this month. Weidman is 40 years old and was just recently TKO'd in the second round by Eric Anders at UFC 310. He has won 3 out of his last 11 fights.
I'm here to tell you guys I'm hanging up the gloves in the UFC. I'm no longer going to be fighting for the organization that like changed my life in so many ways. And I'm just super appreciative, to everybody who got me here.
Chris Weidman recently addressed the confusion and explains why he just couldn't say no to signing with the GFL. He went on to say, "The elephant in the room is I just retired from the UFC. A lot of people thought I was done fighting. I didn't know. I thought maybe I am done fighting. I was kind of open to other opportunities outside of the UFC, but it had to be good. This is a league where there's a lot of guys that I have a history with. You've got Luke Rockhold, you've got Gegard Mousasi, you've got Uriah Hall. Rockhold was my first loss ever. That was a tough pill for me to swallow. We were supposed to rematch a bunch of times in the UFC, but it never happened. So that would be a fight I'd love to have. Uriah Hall broke my damn leg in my last fight. He was a gentleman about it, but we had fought twice. It's older dudes that I have a lot of history with. I love to compete and we make a whole lot of money. It's not something I really feel like I could say no to. It's a really exciting time for me." For the first time in his pro MMA career, Israel Adesanya is coming off back-to-back losses. A unanimous decision loss to Sean Strickland in September of 2023, followed by a 4th-round submission loss to Dricus Du Plessis this past August. Ahead of his fight against Nassourdine Imavov this weekend, Izzy says he's not thinking about the fact that he just doesn't want another loss. He recalls his past fights with Alex Pereira, and in preparation for the 4th fight, he was more focused on just winning rather than dwelling on the previous losses. He ended up knocking Alex out in the 2nd round. Speaking to MMAfighting.com, Izzy said, "I'm not thinking like that. I'm just going in there ready to dominate. I'm not thinking I don't want another loss. That's a weird way to frame it because I'm just thinking of what I don't want. I'm in that frequency. No, I have not been thinking that. I'm just going to go in there and do what I do my best. I know what I am when I'm at my best. When I fought Alex in Miami, I had that I have to win mindset. I wasn't saying I can't lose. I was saying I have to win. Again, it's a flip because you're tapping into that, oh, I can't lose. I can't lose. Your brain just recognizes lose, lose, lose. So when I fought Alex for the 4th time, I was just telling myself I have to win. I have to win. I was like, win, win. It's just a different way of looking at things. There's not really pressure. I put pressure on myself when I get out there or when I get to Saudi Arabia. But when it comes down to the fight itself, I don't feel too much pressure because there's no belt on the line, but in the same breath, it feels like a title fight because you're fighting me and it's 5 rounds. I still train for 5 rounds. Not really much has changed in that aspect. Same as I've always had. I never really chased the belt. I always knew it would come around. I knew what I was going to do in the game. I knew it was going to come around. Again now, I just plan on keep winning and it will circle back. I'm not chasing the belt, but the belt chases me. When I was coming up, I had guys who were at the top that I had to fight to get my chance. They gave me my shot. Now I'm at this point in my career to give him a chance. He gets to fight Israel Adesanya, and it's the biggest fight of his life. Can he rise to the occasion? We're yet to find out. My job is to make sure he doesn't. He's a good fighter. He's slick. He mixes his grappling with his striking well. He's got all right footwork. This is different. When you get in there with me, it's a lot different. The moment can get to some people. I don't know if it will get to him before I do. Tom Aspinall posted a video to his TikTok explaining why he doesn't like doing face-offs with fans. He says he doesn't even like facing off with his opponents, let alone a fan. Tom's getting called out left and right in the comment section because when he ran into John Jones, the first thing he did was ask John to do a face-off.
All the best.
Respect.
All the best.
Do a quick picture.
Sure.
Yeah?
Let's get it.
A face-off.
No,
Just no, okay. No problem. No problem. No problem. So I get asked a lot by fans to do face-offs. Fans love doing face-offs with UFC fighters. It's not my thing. I don't like doing face-offs. I don't even like doing face-offs with the guy I'm fighting, really. It's a little bit weird just looking in a guy's eyes for 30 seconds, not saying anything. So, not really my scene, to be honest with you. I don't mind it right before we fight, if we're in the octagon. Do a face-off then, but the day before, the week of the fight, with a random person on the street who's a fan. So any fans out there who want to do a face-off, I will say no.
What's going through your head though with a fighter? Do you ever feel like someone's getting the best of you? Or
No, do you know what? I don't even look into it too much, you know. Sometimes I've looked at people and I think, they look really nervous. But you know, like sometimes being really nervous can help you. So if someone's really nervous, I'm not underestimating them thinking, oh, they look nervous, they look scared or whatever, because sometimes that is an advantage to them. So I don't really look into it too much, to be honest.
Mike Perry discusses who he wants to fight next. Perry recently called out Robbie Lawler to fight in BKFC and got some backlash over it due to the fact that Robbie is now 42 years old. Robbie just recently retired from the UFC after his first-round KO win over Nico Price back in July of 2023. On Jake Shields' podcast, Perry also discusses a potential fight with Dylan Dennis, who just recently signed to the GFL.
Man, you know, Bare Knuckles trying to make the Robbie Lawler fight.
That'd be good.
I know that the paycheck is definitely looking good if they're offering it to Robbie, trying to get him to fight me. I think he's a very dangerous character, especially by the way he's playing. Like, people aren't sure if he would even want to, or, you know, they're saying leave him alone, he's retired, this and that. Like, Robbie's dangerous.
He's not that old. He's still dangerous. Yeah, people are babies, you know.
I've been talking with Dylan Dennis in the DMs about he wants to have an MMA fight. Nobody will MMA fight.
You'll whip that. You'll whip his.
I'm telling Mams Taylor, let's make the MMA fight, and they're trying to say that they had offered it, this and that, but it would have been the time. First of all, one, they didn't have a date. Two, it was during the Jake Paul. I took the Jake Paul fight. That money was guaranteed. The date was there. I stepped in for Mike Tyson, and I had 6 rounds with Jake Paul, you know, and you know, while I'm doing the experience stuff, Dylan Dennis ain't fighting nobody or doing nothing. So, you know, that's something. I told Nate Diaz, set up me and Dylan Dennis in Real Fight Inc.
Yeah, that would sell too, because he used to be a really good grappler. He was a top-notch grappler, but he's not anymore. He's fallen off. He's all just like talking hype. He's not what he used to be. I think you would crush him now.
Alex Pereira's coach Plinio Cruz uploaded footage of them preparing for Magomed Ankalaev. Robert Whittaker gives his prediction for Israel Adesanya versus Nassourdine Imavov this weekend. Izzy is currently coming off a 4th-round submission loss to Dricus Du Plessis this past August. Despite losing, Rob thinks Izzy looked great against Dricus, and if that same Izzy shows up this weekend, it will be a good night for him. Go check out Rob's full breakdown on the latest episode of the MM Arcade podcast. Links in the description.
It's so hard for me to bet against Adesanya in just about any matchup. I think his spacing, his control of the space, the way he utilizes his counters, his aggressive fighting, his pressure with his length, his feints, make him very hard to take down. And if you're not taking him down, you're having like a long night in the office, okay? Now, understandably, he lost against Dricus last fight, but I think he turned up phenomenally for that fight. I think his striking was on point, crystal clear. Dricus is just tough as shit, dude. Like, yeah, man, he's tough as hell, okay? And, you know, honestly, in the round that he beat Izzy in, I thought he was going to die at the beginning of it. Like, you know what I mean? He's a special dude, man. He's got such a unique style. So I don't think it's too much of a negative for Adesanya. If we see that Adesanya turn up against Imavov, I think we see a very it's going to be a good night for him in the office.
Khamzat Chimaev is confident that he becomes a UFC champion this year. Dana White recently stated that Khamzat will probably be fighting the winner of Dricus Du Plessis versus Sean Strickland.
Ahead to the next pay-per-view, UFC 312. Where does Khamzat Chimaev fit into the middleweight division? Do you think he'll get the winner of Strickland and Du Plessis, or is he going to fight again before a title shot?
Yeah, I think he probably gets the next shot.
Khamzat posted this to X today. He wrote, 2025, I will take this belt, inshallah, and no one can stop it. Although the UFC has not announced it yet, Bo Nickel claims he knows for a fact that Ilia Topuria will be rematching Alexander Volkanovski at UFC 314 in April. Ilia took the featherweight belt from Volk this past February, knocking him out in the 2nd round. He recently stated that he may be vacating the title and moving up to the lightweight division, naming Charles Oliveira as a potential first fight in the heavier weight class. Ilia said the weight cut to 145 was just becoming too much for him. However, it looks like he'll be doing it once again. On the most recent episode of his podcast, Bo Nickel says that he also wants to fight on that card.
But they just announced Ilya and Volk.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's dope.
UFC 3...
When?
April 314, I think.
No, not the 3rd. I'm thinking of the rematch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ilya and Volk, or Ilya and Islam would be sick. Yeah. I don't know about Ilya and Volk rematch. I mean, I get it. Volk had to rematch Holloway a bunch of times.
That was a clean knockout, though.
He knocked him out clean. Bad. I think I love Volk. He's great. I don't see a path to victory then for him, really.
I don't know if that was announced.
No, it's official. I know for a fact. I don't know that it was announced for a fact, but I know it's happening for a fact.
Inside source.
It's been announced.
No. I'm announcing it.
I like Volk.
He's great. He's the man. Yeah, that could. I might fight on that card. That's the card I'm trying to fight on.
Nice.
Yeah, April, Miami.
Sick.
And that's going to wrap it up for the news. Thanks for watching. For daily MMA news and content, subscribe to Full Mount MMA and click the bell icon to be notified when we post videos. Here are the 3 top comments from last video. The first one's from Ryzen1X. It says, starting a petition to stop reporting on Conor's quote-unquote upcoming fights. The second one's in reference to Conor McGregor saying he wants to fight Jeremy Stevens in BKFC next. It says, from who the f is that guy to trying to fight the guy. What a fall off. The final one's from Iceman299. It says, are there really still people out there who believes Makhachev is fighting again? Give it a rest. Those were the 3 top comments from last video. If you want to be featured in the next one, all you have to do is comment down below. And if you missed yesterday's news, click the video on screen right now to get caught up.